My Secret Personality. Web novel. Chapter 2. 10 billion? Charlie was stunned. He knew that his grandfather's family was rich. But at that time he was young and had no idea about money. He only knew that the Wade family was one of the top families in East Cliff and in the country. But he didn't know exactly how much money it had. But at this moment, he knew it. 10 billion is just pocket money, and when it is about the entire Wade family, he is afraid it will be more than 1 trillion. To be honest, at this moment, he was deeply moved in his heart. But thinking of the death of his parents, Grandpa couldn't shirk the blame, and he couldn't forgive him. Stephen Thompson saw his entanglement and hurriedly said, "Master, you are the heir of Wade family. You deserve this money. And strictly speaking, it belongs to your father." Master said, "If you are willing to go back, you will inherit the trillions of family properties. If you don't want to go back, this money will be given as your living expenses." Oh yes, Forest Hill's largest enterprise, the Emigrant Group with a market value of 100 billion, was wholly owned by Yegia yesterday. Now all the shares are in your name. You can go to Emigrant Group for the handover by tomorrow. Charlie was a little unbelievable. Wade family's investment is too big for him to handle, right? 10 billion premium cards, 100 billion Emigrant Group. Although Oris Hill hides the dragon and crouching tiger, the only true god is the Emigrant Group. Any family must bow to their knees in front of the Emigrant Group. It is the emperor of Oris Hill's business field. Even the Wilson family and White family who humiliated him today, as well as the Jones family who pursue Claire, are all small in front of the Emigrant Group. Unexpectedly, it turns out to be his own now. At this time, Stephen Thompson handed him a business card and said, "Mr. Wade, you may need to calm down and think about it. I won't bother you anymore. This is my phone number. Please tell me if you have anything to do." After speaking, Stephen Thompson turned and left. After he left, Charlie was still in a daze. He didn't know whether he should accept Wade family's compensation. But, thinking about it carefully, the humiliation that he has experienced over the past 10 years, and the humiliation he has been given in the Wilson family, these are the compensations given to him by the Wade family. Why doesn't he take it? Moreover, Aunt Lena's medical expenses still need 2 million, and it is urgent. Thinking of this, he gritted his teeth and immediately turned back to the toll office. "Hello, I want to deposit the 2 million. Swipe the card, enter the password, the transaction is successful." 2 million was easily credited to the hospital's account. Charlie felt like the whole person was in the mist. Has he become a billionaire? Going home in a muddled manner. The family had fallen out at this time. Claire and her parents did not live in Wilson's villa, but a very ordinary building. They have been driven out since Claire married him and old Mr. Wilson died. His mother-in-law was yelling at home, "Charlie, that rubbish. Let us lose face today. If you don't divorce him, your grandmother will drive you out of the Wilson Group." Claire said, "I'll find another job when I get out." "You," said mother-in-law angrily, "what's so good about that rubbish? Why can't you divorce him and then marry Wendell? If you marry Wendell, our family can be proud." The father-in-law also said to the side, "Yes. Marry Wendell. Our family will become a treasure immediately in front of your grandma. And your grandma will rush to curry favor with you every day." Claire said, "Don't say anything, I won't divorce Charlie." "You kid." The two had to persuade Charlie to push in. When they saw him, his father-in-law and mother-in-law didn't look good. The mother-in-law snorted coldly, "A rubbish, and a face to bear it all." Charlie sighed inwardly. His mother-in-law has always looked down upon him. But if he were to let her know that he is now the boss of the Emigrant Group, and has 10 billion in cash, what would she be like? However, Charlie is not yet ready to let people know his identity. He has been away from the Wade family for many years. Who knows what the Wade family is now? What if someone in the Wade family is unfavorable to him if he exposes himself? Therefore, it is better to keep a low profile first. So he lowered his head and said apologetically, "Mom, I'm sorry, I caused you trouble today." The mother-in-law scolded, "You are more than trouble. You are killing our family of 3. You can't be a little self-aware, and get out of our house." Claire hurriedly said, "Mom, how do you talk? Charlie is your son-in-law." "Bullshit," mother-in-law said bitterly. "I don't have such a waste son-in-law. The farther you go, the better." Claire pushed Charlie, "Hurry, go to the room." Charlie nodded gratefully and fled back to the room. He and Claire had been married for 3 years. But they had never been married for 3 years in the strict sense. Claire slept on the bed and he slept on the floor next to her. This night, Charlie couldn't sleep for a long time. What happened today is really shocking, he will not be able to digest it for a while. Before going to bed, Claire said to him, "How is Aunt Lena? I still have more than 100,000 private money. You can take it to her tomorrow." Charlie said, "No, someone has already paid Aunt Lena and sent her to East Cliff for treatment." "Really?" Claire said in surprise, "Aunt Lena is saved?" "Yes." Charlie said, "Aunt Lena has done good and accumulated virtue throughout her life and helped so many people. Now someone has finally repaid her. That's good." Claire nodded and said to Charlie, "You can breathe a sigh of relief." "Yes." Claire said, "I have to go to sleep. Recently, the company has a lot of things and I'm so tired." Charlie asked, "What happened to the company?" Claire said, "The business is not very good. Grandma has always wanted to cooperate with a large company like the Emgrand Group. But the strength of the Wilson family is still much weaker and people look down on it." Charlie suddenly thought of the Emgrand Group and asked her, "The Wilson family has no cooperation with the Emgrand Group?" Claire laughed at him and said, "How can the Emgrand Group look at the Wilson family? Even Wendy's fiancé and Gerald's family are barely able to catch up with the Emgrand Group. Grandma counts on them after they get married. The White family can help the Wilson family connect with the Emgrand Group." Charlie nodded. It turned out that the Wilson family had sharpened their heads and wanted to cooperate with the Emgrand Group. However, Mrs. Wilson was afraid of dreaming and could not think of it. Emgrand Group is now his own. Thinking of this, Charlie decided to take over the Emgrand Group first, and then give Claire a little help through the Emgrand Group. She was too bullied in the Wilson family. As her husband, he had the responsibility to help her improve her status in the family. At first, your husband is different from today. I will never let anyone look down on you again. I will make the entire Wilson family bow to you. End of chapter 2.